Hey guys, Julie here, and I am with our boy Tucker, aka Tuckwagon, I think somebody called him. And I'm working with him for the first time. All of our dogs work with more than one handler because they need to generalize the obedience, or else we don't want the dogs thinking they only have to listen to Gabby, or they only have to listen to this one trainer, and then they go home and it falls apart. So we proof our dogs multiple ways. We proof them off property in different locations, in different rooms. And we also proof them with different handlers. So I come in with a fresh slate and he might think, oh, a new person, I don't have to listen to them. And then he realizes, oh yes, I do have to listen to them. And yes, I have to listen to anyone talking to me. Tucker's a really good boy. He's gonna listen to you. I really am enjoying this dog so far. I've only known him for about 5 minutes. Let's see what he knows in using obedience around the house with me as a new handler. And I'm gonna show you. We're gonna be doing recalls, all things that are practical. So you're gonna need a way to get your dog from point A to you, or point A to B in your house. At some point, you're gonna be using the recall. That is a hands-free, confrontation-free way to get your dog to you. We're gonna be using the follow around the house. So maybe you want to get your dog from their place bed to the back door. You can use the follow mode to walk with you. And of course, we're gonna be using the stay, because that is a necessity for family dogs. You're gonna want a way to have them to stay put if you need to do something else around the house, like eat dinner, do human things, and you don't want your dog all over the place. Someone comes to the door, you send your dog to place, things like that. All right, so I'm gonna flip the camera around and I'm gonna show you. We're gonna start with a recall. All right, so when our dog's on place, there's only 2 ways off. A release, which means you're free, you can do whatever you want within reason, or a recall, which is the word C-O-M-E paired with the tone here, which is the black button on the side with the T. And it just means he has to come to me and sit somewhere in front of me and then wait for the next direction. He can't just come sort of and then veer away. Okay, so let's try it. Tucker. Now remember, his name, that doesn't mean shoot off the bed. It's an intention getter, right? So I say Tucker, and he goes, yes, Julie. He waits for the command. If your dog starts guessing the command based on you saying their name, take a step back. We don't want that. We want them saying, yes, Julie, or yes, Mom, okay? Once he's looking at me, I'm gonna give the command. Paired with the tone. Come, good boy, sit. Nice work. He comes and sits right in front of me, and then he waits for the next command. Let's start running him through stuff. Down. Wow, good job. You managed the floor, bud. Stay. So I was just able to get him to me from one place to another, have him sit, have him down, have him stay while I walked into a completely different room, right? And guess what? I come back and he's still there. Can you see how this is practical for around your house? You know, you don't want a dog who's constantly underfoot. You're tripping over him. He's involved in everything. He can't be alone. You have to give dogs coping skills to be alone. It's part of life as a family dog, okay? And let's say there's a knock at the door, right? Who is it? Oh, 1 second. Let me take care of my dog first. Tucker, place. Good. Stay. Right? Practical things like this you want to practice. But notice I'm not waiting for somebody to knock at the door. I'm practicing it. So we can rehearse for the real thing, just like actors do for a main performance. Okay? So we're practicing and patterning these things so that when the real thing happens, he's a pro at it. Okay? All right. So let's try some fun stuff. We're going to do out of the room, out of sight recall. Okay? So he's on place. I'm gonna recall him with the tone, okay? He's gonna come running, I'm gonna say, good boy, and then he's gonna say, what do you want me to do now? And I'm gonna give him the next direction. Come. Good job, bud. Yeah, here you come. Good boy. Sit. That's such a good boy. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Good job. Okay, let me show you the follow around the house. We call this burning trails, common pathways that you and your dog are going to be taking, and you don't want them running around the house like a lit firecracker, you can actually put them in a follow mode where you walk nicely and politely around your house. Maybe it's from the place bed to the back door, maybe it's from the kennel to their place bed, just a way to get them calmly and politely around the house. All right, so he chose to lay down from that sit, and that is a really good choice. So I'm gonna say heel. I'm gonna tap my tone. I always tap my tone when I put my dogs in heel, because again, it means movement, okay? It essentially is a moving recall, and it just never ends. And then I'm gonna just tap my left thigh, okay? Heel, good boy. And look, now he's back to work, and we're moving around the house. He doesn't get to decide where to go, that's up to me. He's just along for the ride, so we can walk all around the house in different rooms. Again, this is so much more than a physical position, it's a mentality. So he's following me, right? So we walk all around. He's got my left leg as that reference. Okay, and here's the cool part. I can drop him off wherever I want. So maybe I'm walking into the kitchen, it's time to do the dishes, but I want him included with me, right? Down, I just dropped him off, right? At the station. Stay. I don't know if you guys caught that, but there was a big breath, a big sigh. That is beautiful. In dog trainer language, that is mwah. If you hear that, that means your dog is content. They are not anxious. They know they might be here a while. It's let me relax, okay? So now I've got my dog in this stationary command. I can come over here, make myself a coffee. What's in the fridge? Maybe, I don't know, the holidays are coming up. Maybe I need to wrap gifts and I don't want my dog ripping apart the wrapping. So yes, this is when we use our stationary command. Okay, pretty practical, isn't it? You can use it while you're eating dinner. So the down command is a little bit more rigid than the place command. Again, he's not on a bed, right? So there's no boundary. It's sort of easier for them to make mistakes. So when you're putting them in the stationary command, make sure you're on the clock. You can't just do this and then go up to another room for a couple hours, because I guarantee you he's gonna wander out of it. And if he's wandering out of commands, it weakens the command. It waters it down. It's like, oh, you know, she puts me in commands, but they don't really mean much because there's no follow through. So again, if you're using this downstay, make sure you're here and you're clocked in and you're ready to hold him accountable, okay? Good. Even though I walk out of the room, I'm still listening for his feet. If I hear him get up, it's gonna be a no, and I'm gonna guide him back to where he was, correct, and repeat the command if needed, all right? Let's do another recall back to place. Gabby has these lovely sheepskins, faux furs on all the place beds to make them nice and comfy for the dogs, okay? So I'm gonna use my tone. This is how you get your dog to you, okay? Remember, it's not directional. He knows where I am, so that's why it's gonna work. But if you're ever tapping this and he doesn't know where you are, you can use your verbal come, okay? So listen. Good boy. Good, he's like, what now? Place. Very good. No, good. Did you guys catch that? I hope I had that on camera. He gets on the place bed, he steps right back off. I'm like a ninja with this thing, and you will be too. As soon as his paw came off that bed, it's a held pressure, no, he puts his paw back on the bed, release. That is so clear for our dogs. It is just so clear that you made a mistake. I didn't like what you just did. He remedied it. I released the pressure, and I say, good, and that's at an 8. Okay, and then I say, good, and he understands that, so he's like, oh, okay, you want me to stay here. It's nothing punitive. It's information so that the mistake doesn't keep happening again and again and again. If a mistake is happening again and again and again, let's rethink the scenario and say, what am I doing wrong in my communication to him? How am I not being clear? Maybe my numbers aren't high enough. Maybe my timing is off. Maybe I'm not doing enough setups and I'm not ready because it's a real life scenario and I wasn't ready for him. The timing is crucial and the intensity is crucial for him. Everything needs to be clear, all right? So I hope this video was helpful for using your obedience around the house in regards to the commands. We've got our recall, which is getting him from point A to me or from point A to the place bed or a downstay. We can follow around the house so he can walk with me nicely and politely anywhere we go, and that will directly translate to your walk outside. That's cool. You can practice it inside and outside. And we talked about our stationary commands. Sit, down, and place, right? And we talked about the practicality of using this in an everyday life with your dog, okay? Don't let your dog run wild 22 hours a day and then say, let's take a half hour to do commands. No, 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 no. You wanna use this as your everyday routine. We wake up, you're in the kennel, we put your tools on, I recall you out, you go potty, I recall you back in, I put you on place while I get ready, we go on a walk and heel, I give you a little break time, I recall you back, we come back in the house, it's back to place, it's back to structure, and I promise you, you're gonna have an awesome dog down the line. And eventually what happens is they don't need the structure anymore. Now they've earned freedom because they make good choices all the time. But we always want to start with structure. Good boy. Tucker. Break. Good boy. All right, so that's a release off the place bed, which means, hey, you're free. You can do whatever you want within reason. It doesn't mean you can go jumping on the furniture, right? It doesn't mean you can start barking. It doesn't mean you can start chewing couch legs, right? This is how we start to introduce freedom and see what our dog does with it. So you release off the place bed, he's back to higher energy, right? It's like a light bulb that you can turn on and off. I know. So let's say our activity's finished. I had fun with you. I released you and we played for a little while, whether that's fetch, whether that's a walk, whether that's a hike. You do not want to leave him in this kind of energy. Trust me on this one. I live with a lot of dogs. You just don't. So if it's your time to like go read a book or study for your class, this is what you're gonna do. Place, pointing, good, and that's how you turn it back off. And there's the breath that I was talking about. That is a much more reliable dog than leaving him how he was, which although it's fun and cute, it's just not reliable, and it's gonna annoy you really fast. So now it gives me the ability to sit down on the couch after I've just had a play session with my dog, relax, turn on the TV, open up a book, and my dog's calm and relaxed. But the really cool thing is that anytime I want, I can turn him back on.